No. That's wrong. Dixie Diamonds 150. Metz, Isabella Falls, Dixie, 8:11 p.m. As promised, after Constable Truganini had questioned Lizzie and Agent Jeffrey had done the same with Eddie, they switched partners. Eddie was sent to the living room where he settled on the couch waiting to be interviewed by Lala, and Lizzie joined Reed Jeffrey out on the front porch where he would have her tell her story once again. Once Eddie was seated on his living room couch, Lala smiled at him, then asked, "Everything all right out there?" "I suppose," Ed said, furrowing his brow while twitching his head to the side a tick. "The whole thing is incredibly odd all around, and telling someone what must sound like pure poppycock or the raving of a madman is nothing I've ever had to do before waiting placidly for Lala to continue. Lala nodded sympathetically and said, "Lizzie and I went through her version of what happened this morning, where you went, why, with whom you spoke, and of course I've seen the ResearchGate emails. Would you prefer to run through events chronologically and begin with early morning or jump to your visit to Cooktown? Though it absolutely seems that your story is intricately involved with the investigation, how you tell it doesn't seem to matter, so I'll leave it up to you." Ed nodded, pushed out his lower lip with his tongue, then said, "Assuming I'm catching your meaning, sounds like Lizzie mentioned our red under our bed and the little green men in our heads, singing the last dozen words. Destroyer by David Gray, 1981. Hit song by the Kinks." Lala, completely perplexed, shook her head minutely but vigorously 3 times and asked, "What?" The answer to her question immediately occurred to her, which caused her eyes to roll as she shook her head and said, "Don't get kinky with me. Seriously, start where you're comfortable and we can backtrack or jump ahead as need be," as she reached forward and activated her mini recorder. "All right," Ed said, bringing his right hand to the bottom of his cheekbones, placing his thumb to the right of his mouth, fingers to the left, and slowly sweeping his hand down and closing it in a light fist beneath his chin before nodding at Lala and saying, "Let's start with the voices. Just before breakfast, Liz and I both heard a voice. Same voice, same place, same time, but it took a bit for us to realize that we weren't hearing it, but rather it was inside our heads, which is what prompted my Kinks reference. Do you remember the old TV show, The Outer Limits?" Ed asked. "Well, this voice, Balloony by name, not that we knew that yet, provided both of us with a smashing rendition of the show's intro, the one that starts, 'For the next hour we will control all that you see and hear.' That was our introduction to Balloony, who explained to us that Z, once Lizzie heard Balloony refer to himself as it, she came up with a set of pronouns similar to Jerald's. Best not be calling anything with brains and feelings it, not in Lizzie's presence, that's for sure. Anyway, Balloony tells us a tale of slavery, escape, being on the run from this Brent Carter Brentsy character, Z's continuing fight for freedom, and most importantly, Z's ongoing mission to contact one Pila Tre de Rosier, the same Rosier Liz and I had stumbled across in a couple of articles we'd recently read. It was absolutely mind-boggling from the get-go. A voice in our head that we both could hear, one that made it possible for us to share thoughts telepathically, just mind-blowing. After we'd gotten over the initial shock, Liz said we had to help Balloony, and I don't need to tell you that saying no to Lizzie is a lot like telling Typhoon what to do, right? Not that I wasn't moved as well, but my fate was sealed when my better 3/4 said we were in. We were in, and the next thing I know, I'm driving to Cooktown with Lizzie by my side and Balloony telepathically bouncing in and out of our conversation as we drove along. Well, shocking as all that was, things got even better when Liz and I started in with our friend Karen Block, the Cooktown Public Library's main librarian. Eddie tilted his head towards the ceiling and laughed long and hard before adding, "What with Spitfire Lizzie's spirit and Crocodile Karen's jaw strength teaming up on behalf of Balloony, there's not a force in nature that's going to say no to that pair." And after Karen got over the same shock Liz and I had experienced, we dug right in and went searching for one Dr. Pila Tre de Rosier. But apparently something happened to Balloony because Z seems to have fallen off the face of the earth. Even though we've reached out to Zar mentally, neither Lizzie nor I have heard from Zar for nearly 3 hours, which has me wondering if some people don't like what the voice did say, so they took the voice and locked it away. I want that key. I want that key. As he mangled Russ Ballard's Voices lyrics. Voices by Russ Ballard.